Christians United for Israel is the largest pro-Israel grassroots organization in the United States, with over 5 million members, uniting Christians to act to defend Israel against BDS, lies, and delegitimization. The organization recently held its annual summit in Washington, D.C., and here to tell us about the work that this organization does, just back from the summit in the U.S., is Rabbi Dov Lipman, former Knesset member and senior manager of community outreach for Honest Reporting. Welcome.
Thank you, Dar. Good to be with you.
So can you tell us some more about this organization and the work that they do?
It's really an incredible development for Israel and also the Jewish people around the world. I went there representing Honest Reporting to talk to the Christian supporters of Israel about how they can learn how to advocate for Israel wherever they may be. And I went to teach, and I'll be honest with you, I walked away so inspired. There were thousands of people at the summit in Washington, D.C., representing 7 million people under the leadership of Pastor John Hagee from Texas, and they believe that Israel belongs to the Jewish people. They believe that they, as Christians, need to support Israel, lobby for Israel, pray for Israel, do whatever they can for Israel's success. And the additional element, which I saw this year, was they also believe they have to fight against anti-Semitism in the United States. So we found true brothers and sisters who are there for Israel whatever we need.
And so you just returned from their summit. What more can you tell us? I mean, who were some of the main speakers? What were some of the main highlights?
Highlights definitely included my interaction with CUFI on campus. They have representatives on 300 campuses in America where they're out there fighting against BDS, fighting against Students for Justice of Palestine, fighting for Israel, helping Jewish students on campuses. The highlight speakers are certainly Vice President Pence was a highlight speaker, there's no doubt. David Friedman, the U.S. ambassador to Israel, was there. Danny Danon, the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, was there. They're very prominent speakers, a lot of very interesting interviews. But what I really saw was a well-oiled machine. They know what they're doing. They know how to lobby Congress. On the last morning of the summit, they laid out a few pieces of legislation, which every single delegate there then went to Capitol Hill and lobbied their senators and their congressmen about BDS, about fighting against Hezbollah, about fighting anti-Semitism. And they really are not just saying that they support Israel in word, but they're actually doing it in deed. The biggest highlight for me that I'll tell you was the singing of Hatikva, the Israeli national anthem. I've been at many ceremonies, many gatherings, always emotional and moving. People, Christians, singing our national anthem with such emotion and such feeling. It was something which inspired me deeply.
Well, this really is an incredible organization. I mean, what motivates the members to defend Israel? Is this all due to just the religious connection?
It very much is a religious connection. They spoke openly about the Bible, and the Bible saying that God gives the land to the Jewish people. They quote Genesis 12:3 regularly, where God tells Abraham that the nations of the world will be blessed if they bless you, and they see supporting Israel and the Jewish people as a source for their blessing as well. But I have to be honest with you, they're also talking truth. They don't only talk about the Bible, they talk about history, they talk about our historic claims to the land, archaeological evidence that this land belongs to us. They certainly had a whole feature this year about the city of David and all the evidence that's been proven about King David and our connection to the land. So they do have the religious side, but they also are following intellectual honesty and saying we have to fight for truth, not just truth in the God sense, but truth in the historical and archaeological sense as well.
And so in the current climate in the U.S., as you've mentioned, they've worked to combat BDS for quite some time now. But now you said that they've taken on anti-Semitism as well. Can you talk about their work doing that?
It was really powerful when Pastor Hagee stood up and said, Christians have been responsible for persecuting Jews throughout the world history, and we weren't there, he said, to stop it. But now we're here, he said. And how can we see Jews being persecuted and we're not going to stand up and fight for them? And they worked very hard on legislation that's going to strengthen the penalties for anti-Semitism and the definition of anti-Semitism as well in the United States, and that will lead to budgets spent on fighting anti-Semitism. And they said they will be any place where Jews are being persecuted or attacked. They're going to be there as fellow people of faith to stand there and fight for them. And as a Jew, and there were a number of Jews that were there, it was extremely powerful to hear that, because sometimes in a country which is not our own, so to speak, you can feel alone. And we've seen what's happened in recent months and years to the Jewish people in the United States and the increase in anti-Semitism. And to realize there's an organization, Christians United for Israel, 7 million strong, who are there to fight against the anti-Semitism. It's something which should enable Jews to realize there is hope. There are people that are there to fight with us, and we're not alone. And I think that was very empowering for the Jews who were there and for Jews all around the world who hear about this organization and its efforts.
An incredible organization indeed. Rabbi Dov Lipman, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you so much.